that down. Recently, some levels from a scrapped version of Duke Nukem 3D have surfaced. This version of the game was scrapped in 2001. These are unfinished levels. Most of them don't even have enemies, but they're also very technically impressive for the time. The response to them has been pretty unanimously, this could have been great. It's a shame what happened to Duke. Games were a very disposable medium. Fixed cameras, motion controls, whatever the fuck blast processing was, I'm guessing it was just using Baja Blast to cool your CPU. Arena shooters, adventure games, triangle tits. Where other mediums often celebrate old techniques or styles being brought back to life, games, until the past decade or so, had not engaged in this practice. But with the rise of indie gaming, old graphical styles and genres experienced a resurgence, from the 16-bit presentation and mechanics of Shovel Knight to the return of roguelikes and Metroidvanias. Games have only recently begun to celebrate their past. I often see this resurrection of old styles and mechanics dismissed as nothing more than nostalgia, and that's cynical bullshit. I won't have it. Lighten up. Games are fun. I have no nostalgia for the NES, but Shovel Knight is amazing. I did not grow up with Earthbound, but Undertale is heartwarming. Among the most recent things resurrected by indie developers is the boomer shooter. Taking inspiration from the likes of Quake, Doom, Blood, and yes, Duke Nukem, many developers have chosen to resurrect the style, tone, and gameplay of these pre-Half-Life classics. Dusk, H-Rot, Proteus, there's some real bangers here. The industry is primed for the return of the Duke. Boomer shooters sell. There's public interest in a sequel, and I firmly believe that in the hands of the correct writer, like Yahtzee Croshaw, who wrote a script for Duke Nukem Forever that 3D Realms tossed out, presumably because it didn't just suck Duke's dick for 10 hours straight, Duke Nukem could be one of the funniest video game characters in history, with the right person behind him. I think the stage is set. And I, for one, would love to see the return of the king.
Time to bring the pain.
I have a more complicated relationship with Halo than I do with my own mother, which, I suppose, since you don't know me, may not mean a whole lot. But I pretend to be a musical dessert on the internet, so clearly someone severely fucked me up. The core argument of my last Halo video was that Halo has a unique gameplay feel, which was a result of the circumstances surrounding its creation. The regenerating shield, the slow movement speed, the big floaty jump, the primary weapon being a machine gun with a clip of 60 bullets, and the prominence of grenade usage in the combat loop, were all a result of the fact that Halo was a first-person shooter on console in a time where first-person shooter on console was a sentence that was about as inviting as season tickets to a WNBA team. The controller does not lend itself to the first-person shooter, as it was designed chiefly for vaporizing Syrian children from the comfort of Arizona. The transition from mouse and keyboard to controller brought with it many changes beyond just limiting the arsenal of weapons a player could carry to 2, and adding in some soft auto-aim in the form of bullet magnetism. The greatest change it brought was a slowing of the pacing of the combat, which as the years have gone by, has gone out of style, as Adderall prescriptions and experience have rendered the baby's first shooter feel of Halo irrelevant. It was these particular things which gave Halo a unique feel, which fans grew to love, as it created a thinking man's power fantasy. But it also chained it to its origins. My argument was that Halo was Justin Timberlake. Frosted tips, earring, gold chain. These things were core to Timberlake's appeal and image, but of course time passed, and these things, which were inexorably tied to his image, also rendered him unappealing, and, I mean, frosted tips, this hair is a war crime. But then, and you may remember this, he brought sexy back.
Bring sexy back? What does that mean?
It'll be gone and he'll bring it back.
Justin Timberlake shed these things which were core to his image and appeal and became a massive star again until, he did this thing. I don't know what this is, but it is not sexy and is therefore unforgivable. Regardless, the issue with Halo was that dedicated Halo fans liked the frosted tips and chains. They grew up with the frosted tips and chains. Microsoft, after Bungie moved on, tried to bring sexy back, but the frosted tip fans were mad, and those that wanted some sort of sexy new shooter instead got Halo 4 and 5. I've not played 5. It looks like 50 gigabytes of epileptic seizure, but I did play 4, and it was just... I mean, the new enemies sucked. I don't know what Halo fans generally think of 4, but these enemies are fucking terrible to fight. And the story tried to get me to feel bad for a helmet.
Wait.
It was stupid. So, Halo Infinite had to bring sexy back, while also having frosted tips and chains. I didn't think that was possible. And frankly, who could blame me? I feel, personally...
Good to see you, sir.
That saying a 2-decade-old game has aged a lot, and those trying to resurrect that game while staying true to that original gameplay design had their work cut out for them, is a profoundly safe argument. I deal not in hot takes, but thermo-fucking-nuclear takes. My takes are crimes against humanity. Fallout 76 has an incredible setting. Skyrim is not a raging dumpster fire despite the fact that the RPG mechanics suck, because the main appeal of the game was the exploration, which was great. And Cyberpunk is not bad because a bunch of stuff was cut, but was instead bad because not enough was cut early enough in development, and it was an overstuffed nightmare game that did everything poorly. I don't do safe videos for the simple reason that I lose interest in those videos. I just can't get hard until I've made someone on the internet angry about something very stupid. I'm not a contrarian, I have a lot of safe opinions, but frankly, I don't think the fact that I think Breath of the Wild is cool needs to be shared. Like, I'm not basing a video around that. As a consequence of how I choose to express myself, I always expect some level of shit to be flung at me, and that's perfectly acceptable. I'm a grown man. You call me a cuck in a comment, I go kill a hooker to cool off, I can emotionally cope with criticism, it's not a huge deal. What I do have difficulty accepting, what I cannot cope with, is when I'm wrong. People telling me I'm wrong. Oh, that's fine, I love that shit. People tell me I'm wrong all the time, and frankly, if I cared what people thought of me, I would have Cobained the back of my skull off a long time ago. I don't care what people think, because people are almost always wrong. You know who voted for that presidential candidate you fucking hate? People. That's right, they can't be trusted. But when I disagree with something that I said in the past, oh my god, I think that was wrong? Who am I to disagree with me? So that video had essentially 2 distinct parts. Number 1, Halo has aged a lot. And number 2, Halo Infinite cannot recapture the feel of the original trilogy and be a huge success. It's one or the other, and what do you think Microsoft is gonna fucking pick? I believe the first part of that video is infinitely stronger than the second, as the second part is extrapolation. Trying to predict the future is not easy, and I should know, because I refuse to buy Tesla shares, $1 trillion market cap, you're on meth, go fuck yourself. And the weakness of the second part grew weaker by the day. At E3, Infinite looked good. To Halo fans, certainly. Even the ones whose opinions I respect for some reason, which is like 3 of them, but still. Then, the multiplayer beta dropped. Old fans liked it, and you know what was really crazy? I liked it too. It was fun, although I'm not a multiplayer guy at all, so there was a really low ceiling on how much fun I could have had with it. The beta I played threw the sandbox nature of the game into sharp relief and had me reflect on the fact that as a sad and lonely man, I didn't really see the sandbox in the single-player campaigns of earlier games, and I therefore missed a significant portion of what Halo fans enjoyed about these games. I'm a single boy who plays single-player, and while that sandbox is still there in single-player, it's not that prominent. It's hard to appreciate beneath the floaty-ass controls and dated feeling of the experience as a whole, but it's mostly hard to appreciate because, by the nature of the campaign's linear design... Whoa there, player! Sure, you can take the Banshee, or walk. I'll take the alien spaceship with the lasers on it. Alright, stud. Just as long as you're expressing yourself. Single player is a fight in which what tools available to the player and enemies are set by the developers. Weapons, vehicles, enemies, abilities, there's a pretty low ceiling on player expression. This elite is going to stand right here and use this gun. You can only fight him in a few different ways because you've only been given access to a few specific weapons, grenades, and/or vehicles by this point in the level. It's pretty static. Multiplayer is, of course, another situation altogether. Sure, this weapon is going to spawn right here every time, but who's going to get it? Who's going to pick it off their corpse? What ability are they going to use it with? Maybe they'll take a vehicle. Maybe someone gets in the vehicle with them. The mix of abilities and weapons and vehicles is at the forefront of multiplayer, and it was always fun for me, finding the most creative and unique way to get fucking curb stomped. Infinite's move to an open world facilitates the sandbox and removes nearly all traces of developer dictation. Bungie's games, due to the nature of the linear design of the campaign, restricted how many tools you had access to. Halo Infinite gives you every tool at once. No player is going to touch this game and think, where's the sandbox everyone's always going on about? It's not that prevalent. Only comes into play for like 2 fucking levels. I am an unimpressed zoomer. There are no dance emotes. But the sandbox being restricted in the campaign was not my issue with Halo. My argument was that Halo's combat loop required some sort of update. Chief Lee. In the pacing department, an increase of speed, to be clear, is not necessarily the addition of sprint. That is smooth-brained, be gone with you. Modern Far Cry games have sprint, and they bore me to tears because I'm not making real decisions in the combat. We're talking about increasing decisions per minute here. Movement speed is a part of that, absolutely, but only insofar as it allows you to make decisions faster. Sprint, or lack thereof, is not necessarily a problem. The inclusion of abilities you can pick up, that adds to decisions, but only a bit. But giving the player a group of abilities they could cycle between all the time? That's Decision City. Population, one happy gamer. Instead of finding a nice comfy rock to hide behind, you pull out your shield ability, grapple hook behind one, or dash behind one. This makes the gameplay faster, sure, but really shows my issue with the older Halo games. Hiding behind a rock is passive. Cycling between abilities and choosing which would work best in the situation is active. But the greatest of the player's abilities is the grapple hook, and it's not fair. It's not fair to compare a game with a grapple hook to games without a grapple hook. It is different leagues. It's ridiculous. This grapple hook, almost single-handedly, makes this game, and I'm not exaggerating, because if you want to increase decisions per minute, let the player drag explosive barrels, weapons, enemies, and vehicles to them at the press of a button. It allows more decisions to occur faster. You don't lumber your ass towards whatever you want to bring into the combat, you point and click. The grapple hook could have become a tool for aggression, completely removing any defensive aspect from the meta, but it does not. Because jackal snipers will still fucking nail you while you're using it. I think I missed some lore about mandatory Adderall prescriptions for the banished. Also,
Explosive barrels are everywhere.
explosive barrels are a hallowed tradition in the first-person shooter. Do they push other barrels around? Possibly even towards the player, a la Doom? Do they have a delayed fuse, a la Half-Life 2? Do they have different elemental effects, a la Borderlands 3? Yes. The answer is yes, and also grapple hook. The barrels in Infinite are the result of decades of explosive barrel evolution. They are god tier, the alpha, and the omega, the ultimate form of these ancient and contrived incendiary devices.
That was the tightest shit ever. Did y'all see that shit? That was cool.
Where the older Halo games were passive, Infinite is active. Where they were restrictive, Infinite is liberating. To be clear, the older Halo games were never as restrictive as, say, Call of Duty. But if that's the bar you're holding your game to, I suggest raising it. Perhaps even above sea level. There are issues with Halo Infinite. I have grievances, and I must list them now. This is my list of demands for if you ever want to see your daughter again, 343. I mean, complaints for Infinite. Halo has always had an issue where damage is poorly telegraphed. You got a million lasers flying at you, and God only knows which ones will ruin your day, and which ones will... Listen, I really need this right now. Could you take damage when I hit you? FOB. Furthermore, the open world is outstanding insofar as it facilitates the sandbox, but fails terribly at being interesting beyond the soft grunt skulls that I wish to stomp. This did not bother me much once I fell in love with the combat loop, until this. Element of ancient intrigue to the world.
You weren't supposed to do that!
Hinting at what this world could have been makes what it is far easier to shit on. Those two flaws are, frankly, not a big deal. The world's a bit dull outside the combat, and I keep getting yeeted off this mortal coil by Trojan lasers. It's fine. The last third of the game is not fine. Endless story segments, nearly library level repeating corridors, and fighting these floating guys, which is boring as shit. Only for the hellish repeating hallway textures and floating fuckfaces to get replaced by linear segments and bad boss fights. The last third of this game is a real grind, with story reveals you saw coming and worse enemies galore. That story. In Halo 4, which was 343's first attempt to resuscitate Halo's dying relevance, they tried to give the story an amount of heart, which Bungie had never really attempted. Cortana, Chief's AI waifu, was dying, and the game seemed to think that this was a terribly sad thing. I'd played the original Bungie trilogy, I knew all these characters, and as a consequence, I should have been attached to the Chief and his little relationship. I was not, I did not care, and all the slow zooms on a fucking helmet were pretty funny. She's a sassy titty robot. Who gives a shit? This prolonged mourning of simp bait continues in Infinite. They just kept trying to make Chief actually compelling by trying to wring some amount of emotion out of the absence of Cortana's knockers. And it worked. God help me, it worked. You see, what made it sad was not Cortana's death, nor the fact that she apparently turned evil in 5 or whatever. What made it sad was that Master Chief's only friend, ever, was an AI that lived for 7 years. This is made all the more compelling by the fact that Chief was kidnapped as a kid by the government and subjected to cruel medical procedures and training so as to make him a video game protagonist. It's like a man who had his brain melted by MK living in the woods, his only friend being a dog, and the dog dying after 10 years because, you know, it's a dog. It's not the dog dying that makes it sad, although, yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, dogs are cool. What makes it sad is that a cruel system of exploitation destroyed the man, and his only relationship was a sad attempt to replace the human contact that he's now incapable of experiencing. What makes Infinite's story compelling is not the villains, it is not human man who has a dead family, and it is not the obvious reveal with the weapon. Spoiler alert, if you drink paint. What makes it sad is that Chief is not okay. And I don't think he's ever gonna be. I don't know if this was intentional. It seems a lot of Halo fans actually are quite sad that Cortana died and probably feel with Chief on this one. That's not what I'm getting at all from this, and I frankly feel like mourning a sassy boob hologram is actually profoundly sad, and that's why it works for me. Regardless, Halo Infinite, much like my stock portfolio, stands as a testament to my inability to predict the future. Halo was crusty. It felt like shit. It was designed for a time which no longer exists. And I stand by that. It was passive and floaty, and I've played many shooters from before and around the time of its release, which felt a million times more fun. Because it's not about your movement speed. It's about how many decisions you're making, and whether or not those decisions matter. In the case of Infinite, they do, and I severely underestimated 343's ability to update an old formula. I've said that Halo isn't infinite, but I think I was being too hard on what Halo was. I was so focused on its ancient foundation that I could not see the outstanding house which could be built upon it. 343 could, and did. I've tried to show to Halo fans what Halo looks and feels like to someone with no nostalgia. No rose coloring in the lenses of their glasses, and no attachment to a landmark series, which has struggled to find its footing for the past decade. As someone with little, if any, fondness for Halo as a franchise, this may, in fact, be something worth being concerned about, but I truly adore Halo Infinite. Its combat is everything that a shooter's combat should be. It, much like Doom Eternal, understands that a player that is not thinking is a player that is not having fun. I'm glad to see another old dog learn some new tricks. I'm not doing it. Huh? I am not reviewing Far Cry 6. Okay. I know you want me to. No, I don't. Yeah, you do. Whether or not you review Far Cry 6 is of no concern to me whatsoever. God, your desperation is just palpable. You see, Ubisoft, I'm not here to review Far Cry 6. I'm here to do something far more important. I'm here to speak your language. I'm not here to tell you that your weirdly enthusiastic and single-minded pursuit of mediocrity is bad. Oh, yes, I'm here to tell you that it's bad business, and will one day cost you an insane amount of money. But my money? That's right. But I'm gonna have to do something that hurts first. I've got rules about making YouTube videos, and I'm about to break my biggest one. And that rule is... shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up about the fucking algorithm, and demonetization, and engagement, and watch time, and no, enough. When you watch a TV show, they don't open it up with various metrics discussing the viability of their show and its format and the changing landscape of entertainment. No, they play the fucking show because no one cares. They also don't tell you to leave a positive review on fucking Metacritic either, so they can pump their numbers up. It is so stupid. I hate it so much. How about instead of telling me to smash that like button, you make something I like, you fucking hack? Your job is to entertain me. How about you do that before I click on any number of the myriad of objects you're trying to tell me to click for some fucking reason? But here we go. Let's talk about the algorithm. There are many wildly successful YouTubers, but there are many more formerly wildly successful YouTubers. The game of YouTube is to create clickable video titles and thumbnails which drive engagement and cover whatever topic is in vogue at the time of upload. Now, unfortunately for me, I don't know what's in vogue. People have been sharing this with me a lot. I don't know what this is, but I'm guessing if you made a video about this, it would be quite successful. The algorithm favors certain videos, But it doesn't always favor the exact same kind of video. Sometimes it favors longer videos. Sometimes it favors shorter videos. Sometimes it favors nightmares. Remember Toys in Japan? They were a channel which produced finger family videos, which for reasons I do not understand, hack children's brains. Toddlers left alone on the family iPad would watch these videos endlessly. These videos were cheaply and quickly produced nightmares, which each featured the same nursery rhyme, and involved 3D models dancing around, usually 3D models of some popular character. You know, characters like Spider-Man, Elsa from Frozen, Hitler.
Fatherfinger, where are you? Is dead. God, we means dead.
Any word the algorithm could latch onto and would push. It did not matter. Hitler, I mean, he's so hot right now.
But the thing is, you have to remember, there really are still people within this algorithmically optimized system. People who are kind of increasingly forced to act out these increasingly bizarre combinations of words, like kind of desperate improvisation artists responding to the kind of combined screams of 1 million toddlers at once, right?
protection. New command protection created. New protection form created. New commander form created. Vital scan complete. Attention. Security level elevated to blue. Potentially hostile activity on board. Unscheduled dropship departure detected from operational area. Hijack lightning. Shutting down autopilot. Emergency. Dropship on collision course. Crash imminent.
City glass. Shops are closed. There's nothing. The city is an empty glass. Yeah, there we go. APC destroyed. It's in a console.